You're recording.
Hi guys, it's time. Unfortunately, that was not the regular opening, but it's okay. Thank you. Welcome back again. Another week. I can't believe it's Sunday. It feels like a Monday. So tonight's guest is a left brain, right brain, trans female creative who is a DEI advocate and making strides for social change. Please welcome comedian, activist, Fran Sisco. Hi, Fran.
Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Say hello to your audience like that. That's great.
You're good. All right. So I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for taking the time to come with us. I don't know what that sound was, guys.
Yeah,
but you know, anything can happen.
My computer dings every now and then. I don't know what.
Okay, so we got a dinger.
Yeah.
So I had you here tonight to talk about diversity. And tell me, what does DEI stand for?
Okay. This is a term that you're going to be hearing more and more and more. I think it's a big wave happening. It stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, so it includes, it's like an umbrella term that pulls into it being kinder and fairer to people, not being racist, not being bigoted, not treating people unfairly, you know, because of whatever, their age, their gender, their sexuality, their color, their religion, because they're disabled, all of that, you know. And DEI is the term used to include all of that. And I've gotten a recent education in it. I've been, over the last, I'd say 2 or 3 years, I've been more and more involved with matters concerning DEI, but now I'm putting a term to it, you know.
Right. So, well, before you tell us more specifics, can you share a piece of your background on race growing up?
Yeah, I grew up in a very Italian-American middle-class neighborhood. And as many Italian-Americans, but also Irish-Americans or Polish, we stuck to our own kind and weren't easy to embrace others. And because jobs were being lost, there was a big fear, especially where I grew up in Mount Vernon. The south side of Mount Vernon was mostly Black or African American, and the north side was white, and they really didn't get together. There was only one Black child in my class when I was going to school. And around the dinner table, my uncles and grandfather and father, they would speak very disparagingly about and call, you know, it was like equivalent to the N-word, called Moulignan.
I know Moulignan. I know. I have some Italians in my family.
Which, you know, means eggplant, like dark color.
I know.
And I wasn't comfortable with that as a kid, but I didn't stand up, like being 6 years old. I didn't stand up and say, you know, what are you saying that for? But I really felt it was wrong. And even at that time, later on, when I was maybe 9 or 10, I had these feelings of being transgender. So I felt that I couldn't share that, and I couldn't, you know, and I couldn't stick up for other marginalized communities. So I didn't feel comfortable at all. But I just lived my life. And in the 60s, when the civil rights riots happened and, you know, progress towards civil rights, then I stood with people, you know, but I wasn't a big demonstrator I was more of a demonstrator against the Vietnam War than I was for Black rights, you know, or for Latinos or Hispanic. And then when I started living full time as a female, which was only about 10, 11 years ago, that's when I felt that all of a sudden there were a lot of people that were looking at me differently or not as open or as lovingly, it seemed.
That
was my first impression. And it gave me a better identification with other people who felt that way. So I sided more with, and I had been making a lot more friends who were, of people of color and stuff, and also disabled, people and stuff, which I kind of shied away from when I was younger.
Right. I think most people, now we're all inclusive and we know better. But back when, in the 60s, nobody knew better. Nobody knew better.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what I commend you for? Speaking about it, and confronting it head on, so that you can be a catalyst and an activist now for other people, and it really makes such a big difference. I mean,
I appreciate you saying it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm being very active about it. I've been talking a lot about it, and it stemmed from a show that I did for the Episcopal Actors Guild about a year ago, even a year ago in October, called Judging People Unfairly. And during that, I got in touch with a memory of a story of when my daughter Kelly, who doesn't have a racist or prejudiced bone in her body, called me out on something I had said. It shook me so much. This had happened 20 something years ago, but I remembered it, and I shared the story, and some others shared the story, and we made this PSA, public service announcement, for Black Lives Matter. And then at about the same time, I marched. It was really my first Black Lives Matter march.
Is that the one we saw, the commercial I was just asking you about? PSA that I was just asking you about?
PSA, yes. Can you?
I should show that, right? I should probably show that. I should show. Should I show it now?
Yes, show it now.
Guys, we're going to interrupt to show you a part of the PSA. We didn't show the whole thing because it's 4 minutes long, so we're just showing the end of it. But I'm going to show it because it's very important. We all have to individually do our work when it comes to racism, sexism, and all the other isms, because we can't get better as human beings unless we confront, work
and open up our hearts.
Exactly, and open up our hearts.
Open up our hearts.
Exactly. So I'm going to show you this. Hey, Donna. I see Taria out there, my sister. I see Betty. Hi, guys, and friends. Hello. I'm sharing the screen. Give me a minute, guys. I'm going to show you.
And by the way, some of my friends who may be on YouTube and they want to send comments in, they may more easily do it on Facebook Live. So they may want to go on Facebook Live and do that.
Okay, so here we go.
The Episcopal Actors Guild.
Groceries from our actors' pantry.
So let me turn it up. Sorry, guys.
EAG has been helping for almost 100 years, and we want to do more. We know that social injustice and systemic racism still exist, so we are taking a stand.
Because there's still a lot of work to be done. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
We are EAG, and we stand with Black Lives Matter.
That's great. I like that.
And that's my friend Joyce Ballant playing the violin to a song called Coming Home, which is a Black spiritual. And we chose that song. And earlier in that PSA, about 4 people shared touching stories about a minute or 2 long of that they had. And there was some other information. So that's the Episcopal Actors Guild. It would be great if people could contact them. You can get their information on www.actors.
Wait a minute. www.actors.
Actors, the ORS, Guild, GUILD, .org.
Got it. So we have it up.
And now that with that organization's, it's one of its main responsibilities, is they raise money to support actors, especially in times of need like this, including like a food pantry. They actually give grants and scholarships to people. It's a great organization to support. And in addition to that, they have an actors night, once a month, there's an actors night put on performances, all Zoom now, basically. They have a great theater.
Okay.
They're located in New York City, like on 23rd, I think. And it's a wonderful organization. Anyway, and so it would be good to support. If you want to get involved in coming on, in fact, I think I invited you on.
Oh yes, you gave me
Sustainable Conversations, which is led by Helena Joyce Wright. And she's an actress and a singer and an entertainer, and she leads this conversation that we have where it's in private, in its closed group, but people are open with each other, very open with each other with that.
Okay.
And been really strides in people becoming less judgmental. I know I find it myself. So,
well, this is I mean, I think what you're onto something, put it that way. Not only through the theater, because theater has always been the one thing that brings us all together, right? But I just love the fact, like the one time I went somewhere, I don't know where I was, and I was with my friend who's trans, and I don't know, as a Black person, usually when I go somewhere that's foreign and I'm the only Black person, I don't really care inside, but you know, the Black girl in me for 1 second says, I'm the only one here. That means they have no friends. Okay. But I don't get scared or nothing like that. It's just a thought.
Right.
But when I went with my friend, I won't say their name because you probably know them too. I actually felt comfortable at the party. I had a great time. And I just felt like if these people don't like me, it's because of what I'm wearing, not because of the color.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have on the right designer or whatever. I'm making that up. But you know, and that was a nice feeling. And I don't know if you know, but my experience, well, I had a brother who was actually gay. And I want to say trans too, but that's another story. But they, that was my first introduction, let's just say. So I never thought of it as anything, out of the ordinary or odd, because that's my brother. You know, I love them. So, you know, it's weird. It's really weird. So I never thought of it until people started making a thing of it, like 8 years ago or something like that. I never saw it as a problem or issue, and
that's because you were more open because you're Black, right?
Exactly.
And you were with trans people who are so. Yeah. But that's what we all are. We all have something. Yes. So this artificial. I don't want to use the word ideal because it's not really an ideal. This artificial white Anglo-Saxon Protestant work, study, get ahead model, right? It doesn't work anymore. I mean, it doesn't. Not only doesn't work anymore, it's not what the world is, and it's very anti-Christian. It's very anti-spiritual. It's anti-everything. So, the new world that's been evolving for maybe 50 years, but it's really coming into its own. Right. A world where we all love the diversity.
Yes. And I even tell people, even if you don't agree with something, at least be in a space that you have acceptance of another human being. Someone's not hurting anyone. You're not hurting anyone. There should be no judgment of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say what I do is right and what someone else does is wrong. I'm not God. And people often play God. And the people that contradict themselves the most, I find, are religious people. They sit and say, I heard someone say something once about one of my gay friends, and I had to correct them. I said, so you basically worship such and such a priest. It was a priest. He's like, well, that's because they're a man of God, blah, blah, blah. I said, and what about all the ones that molested little boys? Right. Now I'm sorry, but what? So they were like, oh, you see my point?
Christ,
like, who are you?
Christ said, he who is without sin cast the first
stone. Right. But it was more so because for you to sit up and literally say something about somebody you have no idea who they are as a person, right? But yet you're still sending your money to the Catholic Church. Yes. I'm sorry, but what did I miss here? So you're
condoning this. Well, I think they're changing too. I was raised and lived as a Catholic. Now I'm in the Episcopal Church, which is it's similar, but
More
there's less of
judgment.
That black and white. World is changing from a binary, like black, white, male, female, on, off, that type of thing, to a
human.
Blurred. It's blurred, really.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, what species are you? So that's pretty. Although I do, my friend gets mad at me because one of my friends says, "It's what is it? They, them." Yeah, and I get really confused on that one. So I'm like, wait a minute. Now you're confusing me.
I have a joke in my stand-up comedy routine. Because it's carried away with the whole pronoun. We should just use our proper nouns. Call me Fran. You don't have to call me she.
Right, and that's
call me by my name.
Yeah, but don't get mad at me, is what I'm saying. If you gave me something, you threw a curveball at me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not used to that one.
Right.
You got to give me time to adjust and correct me every time so that I can now follow the program. But don't expect me out of the blue to come up to a person I've never met before. And if I say, "Excuse me, sir," and you're like, "I am a they," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, you didn't tell me. How would I know this?" So that's all
Maybe we should wear badges or little things like that.
I don't know.
I have it in my stand-up comedy, Tanya, as I was saying.
You do?
I say that the Metropolitan Transit Authority has gotten carried away with this. And now they may end up changing the name of their officers from transit officer to trans.
That's a good. You come up with the best jokes. That's a good one. That's a good one. You know what I wanted to ask you? And I know half an hour is nothing, but don't worry, if we go over, we go over. Do you remember the first time you ever experienced discrimination as a trans, and what that felt?
Yeah, it was, and I was in actual denial because I was in denial about being transgender most of my life. I thought of it as something, as many people may deny themselves being black or deny themselves. They live in a world other than what their true self is. And so I couldn't accept myself as, because I thought that meant gay.
Right.
And I was so against that. I was brought up against that, even though my younger brother was gay.
Okay.
Wow. So I was confused. So what happened is that I started, I was a cross-dresser, where I would occasionally dress up as a girl, and I would consider it something, it was odd evil, actually. And it was the devil's work. And I would always try to stop it. But what happened was that when I left a career job that I had, and I went and I opened up my own store, it was a large retail store that sold toys and baby furniture and stuff. I grew my hair long. I started wearing pinks, and tight jeans and stuff like that. I really looked pretty much like a girl.
Okay.
But I didn't raise my voice, or I didn't have any mannerisms or whatever. So anyway, this customer came in and he evidently had a problem with gays or trans or cross-dressers or whatever. And even though I wasn't living like that, well, I kind of was living like that, but I wasn't identifying as fully as transgender. He took a bat that was in the store and he hit me over the head 3 times and almost killed me.
What?
And that was my first real experience with violence against me. And I still was in denial about it. It took me a long time to recover. I nearly died. It took me 7 years to get my taste back and stuff. And I still have, there was damage done. I used to have a photographic memory. I don't have that after that incident. But actually what came from that incident is then I developed a sense of forgiveness, which, because it's too long of a story, but I tried to kill this guy as a result of building up this revenge or this feeling that I needed to avenge myself.
Right.
And I followed, and I thought it was because he was a drug addict, because he didn't smell of any alcohol. I couldn't imagine why he did this to me. So I imagined that it was because of drugs. And I would go to these drug rehab centers at night and look at the people coming out, try to identify him. And I was going to kill him. I actually carried a knife with me. And I did that on 6 nights. And the night that I thought that I had an intuition that this is the night that I'm going to find this guy. I put my hands to the steering. I pulled the car over, put my hands to the steering wheel like this, and I started praying very deeply. And Tanya, I can't explain how it happened, but there was a surge of some type of energy. It felt like a wave at Jones Beach, a real strong wave, came through the windshield, against all physical logic, came through the windshield, hit me in the face, knocked my head against the headrest so much that for days I had a sprained neck. And out went the revenge, and in came the forgiveness, positive energy. And I've had that since that day.
Wow.
So the lining from that event that so I went home, I put the knife in the drawer. I never told anyone. I didn't even tell my wife about it.
Wow.
I didn't tell anyone about it for years. And then a few years ago, I started talking about it. I started doing presentations to like churches and large groups of people and stuff. So I saw in it an evil that this fella felt against me for some, and there's so many people who feel that. And I, to a lesser extent, I felt that prejudice, if you want to call it that, against other, people of all kinds, Asians, and, I think we all have some of that in us.
Yes.
Yeah, but the more we admit it, and the more we just try to open our hearts and love people, like the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, the better we'll all get along and be unified. So I made this sculpture. This is called Unity.
Oh, wow.
This is without the snow. This is how it is without the snow. You can see
yeah.
You can see now this
sculpture.
This branch, this branch here. It's hard to find which one. This branch here with the different colors. Those are the different races. You see red for Native American and brown and black and white. And then over here, these colors, this one over here goes up. These colors are the trans colors and the LGBT colors.
Wow.
And then the colors in the back are physical properties, like we all have certain. And then this white one is going to be spirituality. I'm going and that's the globe on the top is the world.
Yeah, I see.
So we're all supporting all those different parts of us support the world in a unified fashion.
That is really great.
Together.
Wow. What about how is it like a lot of African Americans tell me that they feel like why does it take something for people to realize what we go through? And me personally, one time I'll just tell you this incident. I just had an incident once, thousands of years ago, where let's just say I was beat like a runaway slave with the billy club. Okay. And literally beat like a runaway slave with a billy club, no joke.
Oh,
yeah. And everything was fine, whatever. But that was the most traumatic event in my entire life. And just for one moment, I felt like ancestors felt when they were being beat slaves. Just for that one moment, it was like, oh my God. And no one was helping me. And so it was just, I don't know. I can't understand why some people don't have the same revelation when something, trauma happens to them. Like, it's like, oh, whatever. And they still don't get it. But I'm glad some of us do get it.
It's hard. It's hard, and it takes our coaching. So there is always some people who are early adopters or who might help more, or get it earlier or whatever.
Right.
But not to say that something's not right with, we're just in a point in this country, in this world, actually, we're at a point where if we band together, we could really make unbelievable. And that's been I think the reason for this last year, or the good news about this last year. Yes. It was a wake-up call for all of us.
Absolutely.
Life is too short, and we need to just get it together.
Yes.
And if we get it together, we're unstoppable.
Exactly.
How much more we learn from each other, like, for example, like from my small standpoint, I learned much more about female by living as one. I loved women,
right.
But I was a misogynist, I guess,
right.
I was, objectified them and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, we can't help what, sometimes our upbringing or culture plays a part, and we don't mean to do it. It just is until we realize, oh, I was doing that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I see here's the thing. I think that as human beings, when we grow, then there's nothing wrong with looking back and saying, oh, I was that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. If you grow and to the point where like now you're an activist, you're making people aware. I know people that they don't know that I can see it, but I think they've changed because of you. You know what I'm saying? They had a response.
That's an important, for me, I think, because, I don't know, I'm, I guess, needy that way. I like to feel that I'm having an effect on people. There's a woman who's trying to make a comment. I see her name is Gina Fiore.
Yes, I'm going to get to them in a minute. We're
going to get to some of them. And, the more that what I found is, for many years, people told me, don't ever think about transitioning or living as a female. You'll lose your family, you'll lose your friends, you'll lose your job, you'll lose everything. You'll lose your house. And I kind of lived in that thought for a long period of time. But after years and years and years, I finally says, no, but I got to be myself. And so one day on January 1st, 2011, like 1/1/11, I brought all my clothes to Salvation Army, all my men's clothes, and I took the K off of Frank, and I became Fran. And I haven't looked back on it. And what I found is that as I became myself, or more of myself, people, they would say, I don't have a problem with that. I thought I was going to lose all my clients. They said, no, what's the difference?
Right.
They said, we like what's in here, not what's on here. We like what's in here. We're not what's on here. So I was shocked. I really felt like Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life that goes back.
That movie.
What people thought of. So I had that experience, and it was the biggest experience of my life, biggest positive one about what I meant to people.
Right.
And that was because I shared more of myself. So a lot of people who are prejudiced and against others, not understanding why, really, they're just driven that way. They were brought up that way. They think it's a godly thing to be that way. Whatever reason,
right?
They will feel more like themselves if they're more generous,
exactly,
of their spirit, and more easy to share their love.
Yes,
it's so much better and easier, and plus you learn a lot more from these other cultures. Like,
absolutely, it's so much easier to be kind. I tell people this all the time: way easier to be kind than it is to hold hatred and look for things like, oh, the guy, if the guy walking over there, he has on Nikes, or her hair is too long.
Right.
It's too much work. It's way too much work.
Being judgmental is not a good solution.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Not. But before I get to the comments of the viewers, tell us about DEI how it started, who it's for.
I think what's happened is that somebody wanted to put a title to it. Okay. So we were looking, for example, at Episcopal Actors Guild, we were providing training for the council, for the leaders of the organization and others if they wanted anti-racism. But we realized it's more than that. I mean, that's very important. That's the front burner. That's the thing that we got to really direct ourselves to right now. But it's more than that. It's all the hatred against, as you said earlier, maybe Asians or trans or gays or poor people or immigrants or all of that stuff. So DEI and what happened in my life is over the last couple of years, I've been focusing more of my energy on matters DEI. So my art, my paintings, my sculptures, my songs, all of these things that I've started doing more and more of, they all have really a message about that. Like I wrote a song parody called "We Are All Kinds of People." That, red, yellow, brown, black, white, and lavender.
Is that one of the ones I've queued up? No, I have happy.
One that you queued up.
And
I didn't get that one, but that's that is just one example. I put together a listing of some of these things for an art proposal I made, and I realized when I put together the list is that that's what my life has been, and that's my artistic statement. Can I read you my artistic statement?
Absolutely, I want to see that. We want to see it.
Yeah,
awesome, guys. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Francisco about many things, but discrimination and learning to appreciate all people and work together. Yeah, go ahead. Let me see.
This was a submission to the Arts Westchester group just last week for my sculptures to be included for 4 events, including plays, comedy, singing, and stuff, all about DEI.
Okay.
And about bringing people together. And so it's a short statement. I'll read it. This artist statement that went into this proposal during a Zoom professional development workshop with Stacy Miller at the Pelham Arts Center. Stacy suggested that my work with social change and social justice might very well be part of my artistic mission statement. And I thought of my several disciplines: writing songs, parodies, films. I make films, plays, visual art, and how they all seem to connect. And here is what resulted. This is the sentence. This is my mission: to cast out my true self artistically and freely, and then grow from people's engagement and collaboration, especially with a focus on social change, social justice, family, diversity, equity, inclusion, spirituality, creativity, personal truth, authenticity, and honesty. And so that is really, when I think about things I've been doing in my life for the last several years, they really almost all directed toward that. And now I'm making now I'm saying it. Before I was just doing it kind of behind the scenes, I write a song and stuff. But now I'm saying, no, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. I may error here and there and miss something there, and for sure, I'm not perfect, but this is what I really want to try to do. I want to try to express myself as freely and honestly as I can. And I want to bring that out in other people.
And that I believe that when you find your true self, whatever that is when you are at your best.
Yeah.
And when you can give love, because you found the ultimate love, which is yourself.
Yes. And you're absolutely right, Tanya. And when you're in that moment, and because I know you're highly creative.
Yes, I am.
You are always engaged and stuff. when you're in that state of flow, closer to your true self, but also recognizing that your true self now, 5 years from now, it's going to be maybe a new, improved true self. You know what I mean? You never find, and you shouldn't ever really find the only true self. You know, you do the best you can to whittle it to how you're going to be. When you do that, you're in flow. Your creativity is higher. You're working better with other people. You're more efficient. You can make more money, you know, to get the bills paid. You can just do everything better.
Absolutely.
And so it's crazy not to be, you know, it really
Exactly. I totally agree. You know, well, my foster mom was a minister, and she was a civil rights leader. So we were raised to believe that, you know, everybody's equal. And she didn't tolerate, you can't say wild things in her house that way. So it was shocking to me when I hear stuff. But then when I look now in my life and I look back on friends like you and my other friends, I have so many great friends who really, sorry about the feedback, guys. I have no idea why we have that. My friends who really don't even know that they touched my life in some way. And especially when it comes to discrimination, I had no room for it. I was a foster kid. Who am I to discriminate? You know? And then my trans friends and my gay friends, they were so accepting and loving to me that I felt like, okay, I found my tribe. I'm good, you know?
Yeah, right.
Just,
well,
I don't know.
You know, in talking, you mentioned foster. Now that's a reality I don't know much about. And what happened is that I lived my life thinking that I knew I was lucky, but I had 2 parents. I had a brother. I had a grandmother and grandfather. We weren't poor. You know, we went through the school systems. And now I realize how idyllic that was. It wasn't a lot of divorce or abuse or alcoholism or all of that. And I had a intact family. Somebody like yourself that went through foster, you had so much disadvantage compared to me. So people need to appreciate, you know, I'm coming now finally more to appreciate that, you know, and it sometimes makes me sad that I hadn't appreciated it. It took all these years.
Right. No, it's okay, because you know what? I always say it's never too late, and it's so just the fact that you are touching other, like you didn't only change yourself, but you bringing people along with you. That is, that's all we live for. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay, like you change yourself and like that's cute, okay, but for people to be looking at you as a role model and saying, oh, well, I can't do that. If I walk into a room with you, if I know I go to your house right now, I could be in a room full of people with red hair and spikes sticking out of their heads. But you know why I would not have any feeling of uncomfort? Because I trust you.
Right.
And I know you wouldn't put me in danger or put me in a strange situation. So
same, vice versa, you know?
Yeah, no, but just that alone, and this is what I want to say, when guys, all you guys are listening, when it comes to, you know, being tolerance, we have to remember that we are the model that people need to see. Some people don't have that at home. So if you know what you're doing now, you know, with the DEI, you know, the theater, the art, you are hitting all the mediums so that you will touch somebody else, so that that person may actually, somebody may wake up and say, oh, I was doing that. Wow, I need to stop that. Who am I to be judging? And that's what it's about, Fran. Is nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. It's where we are today.
Right. That's right.
That's it.
And it's a feel-good thing, you know.
No, and I mean, I'm so impressed with you. Like when I found out you,
It sounds
I mean,
like you set them up.
I'm just keeping it 100%. Even with your, not just even with your comedy, but just you as a human being. And even when you told me like, oh, you know, I wasn't always that way or whatever, I was surprised because to me, you always would be like my little angel. So, and you're like, I wasn't always an angel, but to me, you are. You know what I'm saying? So that tells you the work that you've done, and that you're able to affect other people. Because I see it. If I walk into an open mic and you're in there, I know right away that I'm good. I don't have to think about my color. There's sometimes you have to think about it.
Well, thank you.
Like you, I don't got to think about it at all. And not, it's not just because you're trans. It's not just because of that. It's because of you inside. You get it. You get what it's like to have a feeling.
I think to some extent, because to some extent, I always had that desire to be different, and to be sensitive to people's needs. And when I was growing up, like at 9, 10 years old, the way at that time in that culture, it was female,
right?
You know, person just mentioned about comedy. I should say this coming Friday, Friday the 23rd, I'm at Broadway Comedy Club doing a 7-minute set. It's live. Broadway Comedy Club in New York City. And my birthday is the 26th, so I'm going to do probably a whole set about birthday. And my daughter Kelly, who has been on that stage with me before, hers is the 22nd. Maybe I could call her up on that stage too.
That's awesome.
At that time, you know, that's Broadway Comedy Club on the. And then my art is at right now. It's at City Hall in New Rochelle. I have
City Hall. City Hall in New Rochelle. Got it.
But you can't just go there. It's a Zoom. Right. It's there, but you need permission to go in and see it. But for Arts Westchester and White Plains, we were given 3 tickets for I think it's every other hour from May 1st to May 11th or so. People should just contact me. I would love to be able to bring people to see not only my art but other art, and join me for this comedy night would be like phenomenal.
Okay, so I'll put the website up here, www.transfrancisco.com, guys.
Great, very good. And my phone number is right on that. People can get in my email too. So we covered a lot of ground, Tanya.
I know, and I still didn't even get to half of what I wanted to ask you, but I'm running over just because
I'll go fast. I won't interrupt you. Go ahead, ask.
You don't mind? So on diversity and discrimination, we had asked some viewers questions, comments, but I see there's people here. Maybe I should take the viewers over here, the live one over here, because I want to say hi to you guys first, and then I'll go back to that. First, I want to say hi to you guys. Hi, Taria. Hey, Betty, Donna. Let's see who's here. Let's see. Yeah, Taria, Maria. Hey, Maria Colomb. Maria said, I have loved one who is gay, and I know transgenders. I have a cousin who's gay. I love them all. They're all nice. We must not judge, especially when when we are mothers, we have our kids. We don't know how our kids are going to grow up. That's a fact. That is show fact. Who are they going to be and what they want to be. I'm so happy. I love everyone not judging. Thank you, Maria. That's a very good
comment. Beautiful comment.
Yeah.
I think a person, Gina Fiore,
I go down the scroll.
Okay.
Yep. So I want to say hello all the way from Uganda, Africa. Hello, Testa.
Wow.
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I sent you the link. I didn't think you would do, but you did it. Thank you.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
hello.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Testa.
It's Testa Africa. Zagadat.
Testa Africa.
Yes. From Uganda, all the way from Uganda. What's up, Uganda? And so
this is being recorded, right? You're recording this,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Who's this? So sorry. What happened to you? Beautiful. Maria was talking to you, Fran. What happened to you?
Thank you for saying that. And by the way, there's a painting, that,
Oh yeah.
that
Wait, let me hide this. So go ahead. Oh, come on a little bit over. Oh, right. Now go up so I can see you on the floor. Wait, where's that? Where are you at? I can't see you on the floor. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
that's me on the floor, bloodied after the baseball bat hit
horrible.
me. This guy, see the guy's hand holding the bat?
I wonder, do you ever wonder what makes people think they have the right to do violence upon another human being?
Wow, and look at all these crazy people doing semi-automatics and like.
Oh my gosh, and their families, the girlfriends, they're burying people. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's why it's important for us to love, because we're going to overshadow all the craziness that's going on. So here's Gina. Gina says, my son is trans kid, was quite a rough road. He decided trans friends he knew had too much trauma in their life and that it was too difficult. So he decided to stay status quo for now. What's your thoughts on that?
My thought is, God bless you. All the best to you. Don't push him either way.
That's right.
Probably it's okay. It's because of gender nonconformity and non-binary. Right. That's a trend that's bigger than trans now. Right. And he could probably stay in the middle.
Right.
And experiment. It's good to experiment both ways. So I did the experimenting through cross-dressing, and I helped because I also love my wife and I didn't want to leave her. It turns out that we did split, although we're still married, but we're not, in the same place. And that was like a big cost. So he's too young to make that. And luckily my daughter and everyone else stood by me, and I in that relationship. But I would say, I know some people on the other side, some 10 and 12-year-olds who took, medications and stuff to accelerate the process, trans and stuff like puberty blockers and things like that. And that may be okay for them, but if he's having questions about it, probably better off not to pursue it too fast. But I do encourage him to have as wide a circle of friends as possible and people who are on all sides of the issue, and to share himself.
Right. Support. So yeah, support.
And get support and get that feedback. Thank you, Gina, for your comment.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering,
Gina, thank you so much. That's so important.
Stories from Misquamicut Beach in Rhode Island that I knew very well. Anyway,
any relation? So let's see who else we have here. Maria says hello, and Marie says hello. Hey, Kim Smith, all the way from, let's see, San Diego. Hey, Kim, how are you? From my school there. Let's see, Maria, welcome. It's, what's that? What would be funny? When I said the thing before. Who else is on here? Let's see. Gina. Gina says, we thank you, Fran. 21st. And yeah, in the middle. He's gotten very happy. Good. Anne Marie says, I'm so sorry for what happened to you. I don't anyone. I just love all. Just be happy and be happy. That's right. Thank you. And who's this? Joanne Ferrulo. Is that your friend, Fran? Hi, Fran.
Yes, Joanne Ferrulo. Right.
Hi, Joanne. How are you? Yes, thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Wonderful friend. And I transitioned in the middle of my daughter owning a store, and Joanne worked with us there.
Oh, really?
And so
wow.
She and all the customers experienced it. Like one day I walk in a little bit more eye makeup on. The next day, and they were very kind. Everyone was very kind. Joanne is amazing. Joanne is.
That's amazing. See, yeah, I love it.
Joanne, I should say, don't forget, Joanne, Friday night. This coming Friday night, if you can go, maybe there's a room in our car. You can come down with us.
Okay, so there we go.
Comedy. It's a 6:00 seating.
6:00 show. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Broadway Comedy Club. Fran's going to be out on Friday. So let's see. Emery says, I don't know how some people can be so cruel. Everyone deserves to do as they please and be happy. Amen. Amen to that. Yeah, Joanne says, yes, great folks. Love them both. Thank you. And who's this? He's Oh, hi, Tran, friend from Tucker, amazing person. Yes, Fran, I know.
Yes.
And we go back. I think I've been doing comedy 6 years now, something like that.
Oh, it's probably more than that. Yeah.
No. Maybe 7 the most. Because
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I know?
Yeah, I
'Cause
remember.
my
Right?
kids
It seems like it's longer, right?
It does. It feels like it. I tried it like 20-some years ago, but as soon as I finished the class, I never went to a mic. So because I had my kids and it just didn't seem realistic. So,
Right.
Who's that? Amen. Okay, so you guys, we want to thank you guys for watching, but let me just ask a couple more questions because while I have you here, it's not often you get people that not only are honest, forthright, advocate, activists, all the all men and artists. So I get you because I'm an artist, and I think artists see things from a different perspective. Like we can see all the angles, and most people try to cover up and only show the ones that they want seen.
That's right.
So with this being said, because there's so much racism and hatred going on, and when I say racism, I know I have some people that say to me, well, and that was one of the comedies. They say someone's like, here's some of the viewers. Some people had wrote in and said, the fight for equality is real. Now everyone who thought that it was safe because it was complacent to sit while we got beat up, hung, and discriminated against, not get jobs only because of being Black. Now other people know how Black people have been judged unfairly, they said. And they wasn't saying, I don't think they were being a jerk about it. They were just saying it's good that finally someone's waking people up and saying, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I get what you're saying now. Because I have people tell me, oh, you can't discrimination at your job. Oh. And I was like,
and Tanya, I think there's a lot more to come. I think there will be reparations.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be a leveling, almost a leveling of wealth.
Yeah, something.
And there's no reason it's really no reason for someone to have $10 billion. Why? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
When there are people that have $5, So there could be a way to level that and really allow people who have been disadvantaged to catch up. And one way maybe to do that is forgive mortgages or forgive
student
moratorium on mortgages.
Yeah. Even though some African Americans will say, not so slick, because other people got cash. So why and they got whatever else they said that was missing or taken from them. And some people got land, and we're not getting none of it so far. But California did the first. They're making their first reparations, and then one other state just said we're going to do it. And I believe you're right. Eventually, they'll realize that we can't move forward until the rights are made right first. We put it out there no matter how much it hurts. This is what happened. This is the real truth of what we're doing. And now we can go forward. Because I can trust somebody when you put everything on the table and say, well, I wasn't really on board before, and this kind of sucked and that sucked. And we can, go back and forth. That's fine. But if you got to put it on the table, you don't put it on the table, then that tells me you're still, not you, but in general.
Yes, I know. You're
absolutely
right. That's what I'm saying.
You're still saying that what I went through means nothing. And that you can never get, because you can give me all the money in the world, but if you're not doing the right thing, it doesn't really matter, right?
And there's a way we can do it and lift all boats. For example, instead of it just being a direct transfer of money from, say, the very wealthy to, let's say, below middle income Blacks, instead of just a direct transfer, it could be an investment. It could be, some of it could be cash, but some of it could be an investment in small, like these micro loans and stuff, where it becomes a responsibility of the upper class to bring up the lower class, or what's currently lower, and to bring it up through economic incentive and stuff, and to help them along, not just pay them off. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of it, but it should also be that there should be a concerted effort to raise the training, the skills, all that's not.
Well, there's some banks now that literally have money tied to slavery. So we know where the money's at. And we trust me, as you see that they were able to pop a stimulus plan out of boom, we got $50 trillion. They got the money. Trust me. That's not even an issue. It's just what are we gonna do? And if you I know me and the 5 Black comics that I do on Saturday, we can come up with 500 things that are equitable and able to be done. That's not even hard, you know. So if the government ever really wants to ask, they probably should do I would do a survey and ask African Americans, what do you see as a fair reparations that we won't feel like here's $2, buy, you know?
Right.
Because it just
It should be something that's also continuing.
Yeah, and it also sends a signal if we do this. It sends, like California is going to be the first to send a message to the world that, you know what, we committed the worst atrocities, but we're willing to, you know, go back and apologize and try to get this right. That's big.
Right. That is big.
That is so big. That's bigger for me than even the first Black president, woman president, whatever you want to call it. That's bigger than that to me. That's how, because that tells me that as a person whose ancestors were victims, and I still have discrimination going on, whatever, but it's not going to stop me. But as that kind of person from my ancestors, I can at least say they didn't die in vain. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right.
That's all. And we can never catch up technically until we get somewhere something. I mean, even like student loans, even if they were to say, okay, we're gonna 4 years of college or 2 years of college, whatever it is, it wouldn't matter. There's got to be a way, in other words. And I like that people are thinking about reparations, because I have a comedy I wrote about it. So I can't wait, because I'm hoping I'm on time with this one. But anyway, I didn't mean to go way left. The last thing, let me see, what else did I want to ask you? The similarities between we said that we kind of went through that. Minorities and trans is being seen as who you are.
Yeah, being seen as and being kind of within the marginalized community, and actually feeling that. When I was much younger and I would cross-dress and I would go down to, like, say, the meatpacking area, bars and everything, I was mistaken for a prostitute, because probably my clothing wasn't that cool anyway.
Right.
And I was overdressed as a girl or whatever, or underdressed as a girl. And I was mistaken, almost picked up a couple of times, by police and by Johns, and that was kind of weird, it felt really kind of weird. And then when I was living trans, and especially in the beginning, when I was not passing that well as a trans, because I was unaccustomed to it, and sometimes I would be identified that way, and then there would be some people, not many, but some would make fun or something. Boy, that felt different for me.
Yeah.
On that side of discrimination, when it was the opposite, when it was always me, the white male,
right,
charge, and all that. And then it became the opposite, so that was, and it made me identify with all, I really feel for people who are, immigrants, they have a hard enough time with the language, and because they're, say, also not, say, legal, there's certain things they always have to look over their shoulder in case they're going to be. I knew somebody who was sent back, to, in his case, it was Ecuador, and it's such a like a tragic situation.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me, because as a mother, and you have a daughter, it's like you do everything you can to protect them. So if I'm in a situation that is dire death and meaning we're not going to make it, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get out of that situation. So I feel like most people that came here like the people came here when they first migrated from Italy. Right? They found Italy, Ireland, all Europe. Everybody came, and they said, "Well, we came through Ellis Island." I said, "Yeah, but here's the thing: remember this was stolen. So technically, nobody really belongs here if you want to get technical.
Yeah,
right. So whenever someone gets,
they're not coming here to buy a fancier Mercedes. They're or a big White House or something. They're coming here to survive, right? To
live,
to live. You know, to just live and not be in the situation that. And it's almost like it's they're almost entitled to it, really, even though we want people to come in here legally and, you know, be naturalized citizens and stuff like that. Right. Sometimes that's not really possible. So we have to be have a larger heart for that, you know.
Also, they just need to open up Ellis Island and just let everybody go through there. That would solve their whole problem, because you know right away if they're a criminal or not criminal in their country, they get they get not a Social Security, but a special number. They can pay taxes, so we get money. I mean, there's a way to solve the problem. Trust me. But everybody wants to act like and hoard, like, oh, they're gonna take my jobs. You didn't want the job anyway. Let's keep it real. You didn't want the job, because there's only certain jobs that certain people would take anyway. So now, because someone has figured it out, people are getting very territorial. I call it territorial racism. So they wouldn't have normally been racist, but because I might come and take someone's job, now it's like, oh, looking at me funny. I don't understand it. Nothing here belongs to any of us. We are all God's children in my eyes, and everything you have is temporary.
And we have to think from a standpoint of abundance, not scarcity. Exactly. And that a rising tide lifts all boats, and that there is a way to engineer it so that everyone is uplifted. It's not necessarily a zero-sum game that where if one person benefits, another person's hurt. It's not really that way. It could work where everyone benefits.
Yeah. Well, remember before all this fancy stuff, we had wagons, right? And we had to go and claim our territory, right? That's what it was before. So all of a sudden now, nobody else can claim their territory. To me, it's all made up stuff that we've gotten so used to that we're spitting out the same jargon that our forefathers told us, which was all a lie. In my opinion, not lie, but it's a lie in that this land doesn't belong to anybody that's here, really, except for the Native Americans. So
this land is your land. This land is my land.
Right. Then we can go on forever, and I won't. I'll just say this to people, anybody watching. You have to learn to, if you don't love all people, that's fine. But you need to learn to at least tolerate and be mindful that you're not the only one and I'm not the only one.
Right.
That's kind of, and please do me a favor. Please raise your children and your grandchildren as such, you know, because I worked hard to raise my kids that they don't go and see an Asian person and say, oh, you're Chinese and it's someone Japanese, or to say, oh, you're Japanese and it's somebody Korean. You need to know the difference. And if you don't say nothing.
Right.
Because you look real stupid right now. You know what I'm saying? Like if I say, oh, like they say, you know, all black people look like, no, we don't. We don't all look alike. I get what you're saying, like the same brown or something like that, but that's about it. We don't all look alike.
I used to say that to people would always come up to me and they say, you know, I met you before. And I would say, all trans people look alike.
Yes. We all look alike.
We all look alike, you know.
But I appreciate you so much, Fran. So just the last thing I'll do before we do a wrap up. What are some of the current projects involving DEI?
Okay. All right. So first of all, even almost in every performance I do, it's DEI covered. So this Friday night when I'm on the stage at Broadway Comedy Club, this coming Friday the 23rd, 6 o'clock show, I'll be talking about DEI matters.
Oh,
you know, and it's trans stuff, but also other, you know, Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. Not necessarily political, but just in a very friendly kind of way, opening people's eyes. My art, I did a art called Freedom and Unity. There's a actually I have it right here to show you. There's
oh wow,
this is a jail that's made out of branches, and it's sitting in the middle of a beautiful meadow just like the world is. We have a beautiful world, and in the middle of it, some people feel like they're in a jail. And in this case, the person that was in it either broke out or someone let them out. So I have paintings. So this is a current one. This is at New Rochelle's City Hall.
Okay.
This sculpture, if I win the proposal, I just submitted a proposal for a $10,000 grant.
Nice.
This sculpture
right.
is one of the sculptures that would be in that. I have 3 sculptures right now in Pelham.
Oh, nice.
One is it's called Blessing of Trans Unicorns. It's 3 wooden sculptures painted with the trans colors. And Pelham Art Center is at 155 Fifth Avenue. It's a beautiful art center, and my sculptures are outside in the courtyard, 155 Fifth Avenue in Pelham. And they'll be there probably another few weeks. And then I have a play that I've recently written. I have 3 plays. The recent one, I just finished it last week. It's called It's an Italian Thing. No, it's a Black thing. And it's a comedy.
Right.
And it's a 1-act comedy. And that I haven't scheduled any performances in theaters, but it's being performed as part of rehearsals and things like that.
Okay.
And I'm putting that online. I have a book coming out called Once a Boy about my life as a transgender person. So that deals a lot with the trans. So that's a sample of somebody. And the art, one of the songs I recently did a music video of that's won 3 film festivals. It's going to be shown at Arts Westchester on Mamaroneck Avenue in White Plains. And the spring opening, it's going to be an endless loop. They'll be playing it for a few days.
Arts Westchester?
In Westchester, White Plains in Westchester.
Okay.
And another music video, I co-wrote a song with an old friend of mine named Tina Gramis. We wrote a song called Carousel Girl, and that's also been winning these film festivals. So those people could contact me. I could send them the links.
Okay.
Enjoy them online.
I'm going to put up the website, the banner one more time, guys. So because we're getting ready to wrap up.
Take that down. That's great.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Kind of easy to remember, right? Trans Francisco.
Francisco. So that's awesome. So so we have all your I can go on forever about all the stuff that you do with art. People used to say, "Oh, you do too many things," because I make jewelry and paint and a comedy, I write screenplays, and they were like, "You do way too many things." And I was like, "No, this is me being my true self."
Yeah, right? That's right. You're probably a little ADD. In a good way.
A lot of ADD,
like I am.
ADD.
But that's a good thing because you know what? Think of all the people
Yes.
All these different disciplines. I've had like 5 lives, because I know all these different. I could walk into an art association and be very comfortable there. I could walk into a writers group and be very comfortable there.
Right.
And a filmmakers group. And it just increases the number of people that you can identify with. It's a real good thing.
That's right. And you're a CPA.
Oh, yeah, I should say that. That's I have about 100 clients. And I've been a CPA for about 30 years. And I'm in the middle of tax season right now.
Wow. I know. I can't believe I got you this long.
Yeah, I know. But I needed a break. And I love you.
I love you more.
And I love talking about myself. I have to admit that.
And we don't mind talking about you. It's okay. Well, what's the last piece of advice that you would give someone out there that may be thinking of coming out, or someone that knows someone? How can they be supportive? Those 2 things.
Okay. One is recognizing and believing you are who you are. And to believe that, and then to share it. And there's so many ways to share it. Start with if you're younger, even if you're older, start with your parents. It took me so long to share that with my parents because I didn't think they would love me anymore. And sure enough, they did, and share it with your friends. They're not going to leave you. So what if it's about that? It's also, some people live in the denial of being their true Black self or their true Hispanic self. They're living in like an illusion.
Yes.
So just be yourself and be proud of it and share that. And the other related piece of advice is, in my case, it's prayer.
Prayer.
To pray to whoever your deity is, your God is, your universe, whatever it is, pray. And I believe God, if we call the entity, whatever it is, God, will work through other people to help you. So as God's agents. And so those are my, so be clear about who you are, share who you are, and don't be afraid of asking God for help. And God will, or other people. And you'll find your way. You really will.
Wow.
And please feel free to call me. I could send you, I have a song called You Are Who You Are, you know, based on a Que Sera Sera song. Sometimes if you hear a song, it stays with you more than somebody tells you. If you see a film, it stays with you. If you read a book, whatever you find, just be honest with yourself and ask others for help.
Oh, I like. So you guys heard it from Fran, Sisco. Be honest with yourself. Be kind and loving. That's what I say.
Kind and love, yes.
Because life is too short, as we see with COVID.
Right.
And after being on such hiatus for such a long time, I actually can say I went to the park today, and I just felt like people were more loving and less judgmental today.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I just felt. I was like to my daughter, like, is it me, or did not that lady not look at me because I was Black? And she was like, no, her daughter came over, was trying to say hi and with the mask on, you know. And I was like, that's unusual. Usually people grab their kids when I walk by.
Right. I think you're onto something. Yeah. I have a fantasy that this year, what this year did is wash us of many of our problems and issues and hatreds and stuff like that. And we're on our way to some, like a miraculous existence, and maybe even physical health wise, maybe as detrimental as this was, and God bless the people who have perished and stuff, who have died and have been sick and stuff. Maybe somehow we're made stronger from all of this. Maybe we'll find out that these vaccines, or have gone through all of this. I mean, the planet's better. The planet hasn't had as much carbon in it and everything. That's better. A lot of the animals are better. And I think the spirits are better, like you said.
Right. I think so.
People are ready. People are ready to do something better in their lives.
Absolutely. While we have all the negative, I think there's way more positive. We just have to create this positive, loving energy buzz that is so big that all the hatred that's going on in the world, all the, illness, all the things that's going on is going to be minimalized and put over there somewhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think
raise the vibration. That's it.
A few years from now, they're going to say, gee, I wonder what was it that caused that? And then they're going to say, well, Tanya had Francisco on her show and the two of them talked and it had this ripple effect.
That's right. That's what we're doing, Fran. We're creating ripple effect. And you guys out there watching, we thank you so much. And we hope that the point of this show today is that you guys go out and create a rippling effect. So thank you so much for watching. Fran, hang out for one more second. And guys, we'll see you on today's Sunday. We'll see you on Thursday. My guest will be Elizabeth Graybill, who is the new author of a book called Unbreakable Me, and Still I Rise on Amazon. So you might want to check that out. Thursday, she's my guest. If you've ever dealt with addiction or discrimination, she's mixed, she's biracial, and discrimination, feeling less than you are, please, you want to check this out. You don't want to miss this. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Fran, hang out with me for a minute.